So now we can actually tell everyone the real secret formula, right? Now
Yeah.
that the lights are off, yeah, now we can.
It's on this. It's on this hidden website. You just have to go to www.howtowinagameJam. It's no one knows where it is.
We can't give anyone the code.
Hi, I'm Addy. I'm a longtime hobby developer, brand new YouTuber, and frequent jammer. My recent game, High Moon, was a finalist in the Game Makers 2022 Worldwide Game Jam. Thanks for having me.
Hello, my name is Oscar Gonzalez. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm an independent game developer. I've published my first commercial game for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and 5. My main role is a game designer, and I specialize in game juice and game feel. I hope that whatever you hear in this podcast empowers you and helps you make a phenomenal, amazing game, dude.
First off, I'd like to ask you guys, when you come up with an idea, do you start off with the overall theme, like a duck shooting out, I don't know, poop as a gun? Or do you think about the mechanics, like a third-person shooter? So how do you guys approach it? And let's start off with Addy.
Usually when I think about like a jam, it depends on what the goal of the jam is going to be. So like for High Moon, the contest was for making an arcade game, and so for arcade games, I know that the big deal with those is trying to capture somebody's attention really quickly. If you're walking in through an arcade and you're seeing a game that you've never seen played before, having like big fancy looking graphics with big characters on the screen is what's gonna attract you to play that game. So with that jam in particular, I focus on making a big character game with crazy graphics. So the gameplay actually came secondary to that. So I wanted to go with like a racing game with a character that's about the same size as a Street Fighter character. For other jams, it might be like, let's get the audience involved if it's like a local jam. So I'll usually make like a multiplayer game or something. It's like a humorous single player game. It's mostly just about what kind of experience I'm trying to provide people that are judging the game. So whether that's the judges or the crowd, and then I can just kind of structure the gameplay around that. But that's mostly just because I'm trying to game the system and win.
Yes, okay. How about you, Oscar?
See, I don't follow the rules for jams. They come secondary to me. I think what's most important to me is the end user experience. Like how someone is going to be feeling when they're playing your thing at the end of the day. That's I completely agree with Addy with like when it comes to the visual appeal and being able to hook someone in initially, that's one step. I know for a fact that a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of the same ideas over and over and over again. And in the game engine that we use, Game Maker, it's very common to find a lot of nuclear throne clones, and
Oh, 100%.
so you have to stay away of the common. I mean, it's been done before and better, and it's such an easy trap to fall into early on. I find that the best way to have an idea work like this is having just a Discord call with people you would usually talk to in a regular basis, because that already like lowers the like, oh man, I don't know these guys, or if you don't know them, they're new people, make sure you're nice and chill and comfortable to talk to.
Add on to what you're saying about the culture thing. When I worked on a lot of design teams, one of the major things is usually I think the research shows that ideas that are formed in groups are usually worse than ideas formed by individuals. One of the reasons for that is groups are mostly focused on trying to appease everybody in the group rather than come up with the best idea, because sometimes the best idea might be unpopular. But one of the strategies that we implemented is brainstorming, and what that is, we essentially had one liaison that would be in charge of the board, and that was usually me. They would have the marker, and then everyone would just spout off random ideas pertaining to the topic that we're working on. So, and I do this with game jams still if I'm working on a team. So let's say that the game jam is randomization, like you said. What we'll be doing is have everybody just throw ideas onto the board, and the rules are everything goes on the board, no matter what it is, no matter how heinous it is, how offensive it is, how ugly it is, how stupid, or everything needs to go on the board. And that is not so much to come up with the good ideas. We call that cleaning the attic. You know, you have to go in the attic, clear out all the dust, see what's up there, and put on the board. So it also makes everyone feel comfortable in giving out ideas, because it's like, oh, this stupid idea, or this idea I thought was stupid, showed up on the board. Now I'm more comfortable coming up with more and more ideas that may be a little bit more out there. And inevitably what happens, people start joking around and you know, putting stuff like boob dating simulator, you know, like it just gets wacky and crazy. And usually when people are feeling comfortable, you get more creative ideas.
Moving on to the next question. Let's say you have all these ideas on the board, right? How do you know what's good and how do you know what's bad? Like, how do you stress test these ideas?
I think feasibility is a major thing in a jam, so that's a good sifting tool too. Like maybe a MMO is one of the ideas, and so the first thing you're gonna do is toss out the MMO, and then so feasibility, then project goals. Like, is this idea actually gonna be interesting enough? Has it been done before? Is it gonna capture somebody's attention?
I look at the how much time we have in the game jam. That's going to determine what we make. For myself, I see the whole game should be completed in the first 40% of the game jam time slot. The rest 60% is used exclusively for polishing. The game should never be done hours before the game jam is over. The whole, you know, you get like a good vertical slice. Addy had a really good point of feasibility. You know, the game has to be done less than halfway throughout the jam, because the rest of the way is going to be used to make sure that the game looks pretty, polished, and something, you know, that the judges can say, okay, this looks like it has potential. And the games where that wasn't the case, oh man, I was cranking up coffee, I was staying up all night, I was not doing my best work, and we didn't even do very well. So that was, yeah, man. Jams are about execution more than the idea, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would say one thing that always gets crossed off on the board is if it's a platformer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
That's always crossed off.
Oh yeah, you know, let's reinvent Mario. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Because
It's
there's
all
gonna
been
be like
done.
20 of those. There's always there's always hundreds of them.
It's funny you say that, because the Opera GX winner was a platformer.
Wait, really?
Hey, don't
Oh,
remind me of that.
no.
I got theories. I got a whole big thing about that. Don't remind me.
No
No
worries.
way, no way. So, going from the idea, how do you make it fun?
I try to avoid certain types of gameplay that just are inherently not easy to get into. So like story-based games, top-down RPGs. I usually try to go for something that's twitchy, because it's very easy to feel a sense of fun just by picking up the controller. You can get into a Twitch-based game very quickly. A story-based game requires inherently for your full attention. Judges, they don't have all that time to go through all those games unless your story is like super good and like award-winning, which I doubt it because you wrote it in like 10 minutes. I would say avoid those types of gameplay styles. And just get into the meat and potatoes, the core twitchy gameplay. And I think from what I've seen, a lot of the game jams that choose a winner are usually you know, Twitch games.
Instead of saying fun, try to ask yourself, what am I trying to do? What's motivating me to go forward? Like, for example, right? You're playing Stardew Valley. Why? Because I'm trying to see growth. I'm trying, and you realize, oh, it's actually eliciting almost as a power fantasy, where I start out weak in the beginning, like an RPG, and I see real progression as I'm going. And the fun isn't being able to defeat the baddie, it's being able to see myself change from point A and point B. I don't know, look at Mario, just copy Mario, that's what it is. But you look at the nitty gritty of it, and you realize that Mario is actually doing several things underneath the platformer. It's giving players a sense of mastery of trying to beat the game as fast as possible in the least amount of time, which is why the time is there. It also has a collectathon, which is for, well, I'm sure someone has had a friend who, oh, do you ever get that itch, you know, when you are missing that final piece in your jigsaw puzzle, and you find that piece and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm connecting it, and you see that all in completion, and you look at it in awe.
So let's say like we're jamming right now and we're working on things, you know, things are flowing. How do you deal with the time management?
For a jam, I juggle time by implementing an extremely unhealthy amount of undivided autistic focus. Generally speaking, I don't do very good time management. I will throw 3 pizzas in. I will order 3 pizzas from Pizza Hut, throw them in the fridge. That's what I'm eating for the next duration of the jam. So I save time on eating. On the last day of the jam, I usually will pull an all-nighter, so I save time on sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to actual tasks, yeah, I don't. Other than the timelines that we place down, I really don't. I don't manage time very well. I'll just say that.
I like to put coffee in my IV drip, you know, so I can go directly into my bloodstream. It's quite
Oh
nice.
yeah, inject it straight in. The good stuff.
Yeah. It's the only time of year I drink coffee. It's during game jams, actually.
Wait, no way.
I don't drink coffee
Oh,
because
really?
I want to have really low tolerance of it. You know, it really. I mean, I guess I kind of answered it with the 40% rule for me, where most of it is already done in the beginning. That because when you think about 40%, it changes the way that you design the game. You're like, okay, if the whole game has to be done in the first 40%, then we can't have that big of a game to begin with. And that's healthy because you're going to find that it's not going to take you 40%. It's going to take you way more than that, but you're already like scoping for it correctly instead of, you know, scoping for something much longer.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So, what would you say to someone who's never jammed before? Mhm.
So one thing that I would suggest is go in Twitter or contact other game devs, or if you're in a, you know, good group or something and there's like professional devs, ask them questions.
Look at it as like a good learning experience. It's a time when you can try something wacky that you wouldn't feel like you otherwise could on your main baby, your big project. It's a good time to accomplish something. I don't know. I'd just say use it as a good tool to further your craft, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with it, you know. I like to meme with my friends and have this not give an F attitude about everything, and it's fun, and I just feel like, dude, we would just be doing this all day if we could. I don't like working in high stress environments. I feel like it is going to muddy up the food that we're serving to our established guests.
Mine is kind of similar. It's like a mix of both of yours in the sense that, you know, you're working with people you know, you're chill with, right? And when you jam, it's a very high stress environment, but in that environment, more often than not, you create like a stronger bond, and it's very fun actually for me personally to be in that high stress moment. And it kind of reminds me of like,
Oh yeah, me too.
yeah, it's like when you're trying to write an essay and there's like 5 minutes left and you have like a paragraph left, you know, that really pushes your limits on your writing skills. And in the same way with game jamming, it really pushes your skill level as well. So on like a personal development perspective, you can really see where you're at when you're game jamming, and I absolutely love that. And you get to do that with people you enjoy working with, and yeah, you get to create a game at the end of it, so that's like, you know, the caviar on top. This was a super fun talk, and thank you guys for just sharing your insights and just coming on. And yeah, I think that about does it for this talk. So for the people listening, thank you so much for coming on, and hope to catch you on the next one.
Sounds good. Thanks for having us, Jason.
Jason, thank you. This was
Thank you,
quick.
Addy.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you, Oscar. All right, and then we do some director's cut, like.
All right, so now we can actually tell everyone the real secret formula, right?
Oh,
Now
yeah.
that the lights are off, yeah, you know, now we can.
It's on
Evil
this.
laugh.
It's on this hidden website. You just have to go to www.howtowinagameJam. It's no one knows where it is.
We can't
There's
give anyone the
secret
code. man.
code in
It's-
every game jam winner. The Illuminati is involved.